Welcome to Comic Shop Team Up. I'm your host, Anthony Desiato, teaming up, as always, with the owner of Fat Moose Comics in Whippany, New Jersey, Shawn Hendricks.
Good evening, Anthony. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you? So solemn.
I'm quite well. Well, see, I watched all the previous episodes, and I've come to a conclusion. I'm too goofy and annoying. I laugh too much. My girlfriend claims I sound like Krusty the Clown when I laugh, so I'm going to adopt a more somber approach and be a bit more professional and not giggle like a schoolgirl every 10 seconds.
Oh, I'm so
I
sad to
I
hear that.
annoyed. I no. I this is the new me now. I No, I annoyed myself, and I don't want to turn off your viewers by being a cackling hen the whole time. So this is my new approach. Very serious.
That's
We'll
that
see how
makes
long
me
that lasts.
yeah, no, that really makes me sad. No, I love your normal demeanor. I think that's one of the reasons we have so much fun. I love that you're laughing. I mean, I say something, you laugh. I feel great. I mean, I feel like it's a win for everybody.
Well, then, for your sake, I shall endeavor to be a bit more jovial this evening.
Yeah, I don't know if because if you stick with that approach, I feel like yes, the entire tone of this podcast will change. And then I try to bring a fair amount of energy myself, and then I feel like I'm gonna have to match you, so I'm gonna have to really bring it down
This
myself.
isn't a time as adults that we just act at our age.
All right. Well, and this is our Memorial Day. This is our Memorial Day
Oh
edition of the
yeah.
podcast. So, in
Which I got excited. I was like, oh, Memorial Day, a day off. And I remember, oh, hey, stupid, you're closed on Mondays anyway. So by the time this airs, I may or may not have decided to close on Sunday just to give myself an extra day. I mean, it's a holiday weekend. People are starting to go out and be around other people. Everybody's being safe. Most people who have half a brain are vaccinated. So I can't imagine it would be busy on a Sunday for Memorial Day. So maybe just as a gift to myself, I will take that extra day.
I hope you do.
And then, yeah, and then I'll sit around the house and go, I should be at the shop doing stuff right now. It's my typical Monday. I'm like always looking forward to that day off. Then I spend half the day like stressing about all the stuff I could be doing at the shop, but that's the life of the owner.
I know, but listen, having that balance is very, very important. So I hope that you take the time, and I hope that you are able to, to really disconnect a little bit. Before we get too deep into anything, I want to thank you. I want to thank you publicly on the show. In our last round of recordings, we talked about our April birthdays. And since our last recording, I received this in the mail from you. And of course, I took it out of the box. It came out of the box.
You
got to enjoy your stuff. And I have it proudly displayed here in Flat Squirrel Studios. It's right next to me. So thank you very much publicly.
Yeah, you're quite welcome, man. Isn't that an awesome piece, though? That's one of those, for the people who don't know, it's not a traditional statue made of like porcelain or polystone or anything or ceramic. It's made of PVC, which means they're a lot cheaper. And I sell a lot of them. I've got a whole wall of them over there, various characters and everything. They usually go, around $50 a piece. And these days, it's almost like an impulse buy for people because they'll see in the statue case, oh, this one's 200, this is 175, and then they see the PVC ones, they're like, oh, these look just as nice. The sculpting is great, the paint job is great. If your cat knocks it off the dresser, you don't have to worry about it breaking. And
if your 2-year-old knocks it off as well, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, well, he's not allowed down there, right? Not until he's 15, he said.
I carry him in.
Okay.
I've not. He's been in here, and I think he likes it. I mean, that's the thing. I feel bad because it's like I have all these toys in here, and
they're not toys.
No,
I mean collectibles.
All right, fair enough. But I mean, there literally are some action figures. I have.
Yeah.
I have 2 Power Rangers action figures hanging on the wall over there, and of course, art. Like it's a colorful room. And I feel bad because it's like, yeah, he'd love to run around, but yes, there's certain things in here that we need to keep his hands off of for now. But I do carry him in here, and he looks around at everything. But if he breaks free,
blow his mind for a minute, and then lock the door and go no. That's like when little kids come in here. The store is pretty bright and colorful, and there's a lot to look at. I watch kids come in, and their little brains just explode because they want to. Oh, look at this, and let them run over here, and the parents are trying to wrangle them. But before we move on about that particular Superman piece. I have one at home. I couldn't resist. What I like about it so much is he looks so pissed. He looks like he's angry, and most Superman statues, it's always this kind of like smiling, grinning, or just looking, chipper. I like an angry Superman. I like a Superman that is floating above everybody in the clouds, looking down and judging and being like, "Oh, you people, now I got to go fix this thing." Like he just looks like he's about to really ruin somebody's day, and I like that.
Have you been watching Superman and Lois?
I'm 3 episodes behind.
Okay.
I was one behind, and then they took that break, and now they've aired two more. So I got to get caught up on those. I have enjoyed it from what I've seen. I think I've seen three in total.
Okay. I love it more so than I ever thought I would. And I talked about it on the Superman show, but
More than Smallville.
No, definitely not more than Smallville, but it's,
I know,
we'll see how the series progresses. There've been 7 episodes. So
we'll see if the series progresses.
It's been renewed for season 2. As far as beyond that, we'll see. Will it hit 10 like Smallville did? I kind of doubt it. I would be surprised these days.
No.
But the first episode back from break, Superman has one of his most badass moments, certainly in the show and in general. It was a real standout. And if you like an angry, red-eyed Superman, you're in for a treat. Yeah.
Oh, good. I've been wanting to watch it. And Nicole was watching it with me. We watched the first 3 together. And then they took that break. And then I said to her last night, "Do you want to watch these episodes?" She goes, "I don't even remember what happened in the first couple." I said, "Well, it's up to you. If you want to watch it with me, it'd be great. If not, I'll just watch them on my own time, what little time I have." But usually that means watching it at like 1 a.m. after Nicole goes to bed and I'm half asleep and, belly full of bourbon. And the next day I wake up and go, I got to rewatch that. What the hell happened last night on that show? So.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy whether you're able to watch it together or you watch it on your own. And a little callback to one of our previous installments, in one of our earlier recordings, you called out my stubble. I wasn't clean shaven enough for your liking. So I just wanted.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
Well, there was, you asked about it. You're like, "Oh, what's going on with that?" But I feel like there was an air to it of like, "Oh, what do you got going on there?" So I hope you appreciate.
No.
I hope you appreciate that. Not only did I shaved with a blade. And
really?
I didn't use my electric razor. I used an actual blade.
Well, see, that was the one thing I would have judged you on is the electric razor
Really?
thing. Because, well, they don't work that well. They never really do. When I was a kid, when I was a boy, my parents got divorced. I was still in grade school. And my dad was around. We'd hang out on the weekends and stuff. But we never had that, he never like taught me how to change the oil in my car or how to shave, most importantly. So for the first, I don't know, several months when, I'd get a little peach fuzz and stubble and stuff, what a really nice Norelco, the 3 spinning blades and all that. Like it did a good enough job. So one day I manned up and said, I'm going to try shaving with a blade. And there was no internet back then. So I'm self-taught. There were many accidents. But that, it's so much easier with the beard, though. There's so much less shaving to do. I always hated right under the nose. That's, oh, God, shaving, that's the worst. Yes. But I was not, just for clarity's sake, I was not mocking your stubble. I was excited that you were maybe going to go like, full on beard, like Superman Reborn kind of thing. Get a black shirt and, grow a mullet and,
Yes. A common misconception, I think, about the mullet. I don't think it was truly intended to be a mullet. And I think it was just supposed to be long hair. But I think maybe in certain instances it was drawn a little bit more like a mullet, and that's certainly what people glommed onto was that. But anyway,
oh yeah,
with the shaving, I always just used a blade. That's how I was taught, and that's what I always did. And then it's funny. I was just thinking about this in the moment. I think it was it goes back to Supernatural, the TV show.
Mm.
I think there was some behind the scenes thing with Jensen Ackles where he talked about how he uses an electric razor so that he always has some stubble. And I think that was the thing that I was like, oh, like, yeah, I would kind of like that. And it is actually a lot easier. You don't have to worry about cutting yourself and that,
Yeah.
It's you can do it a lot faster. But yeah, so there's a full
You've
shave.
never actually like intentionally grown out your facial hair though?
No, I mean, there have been points where it's gotten long, but I've never like fully committed to. Like I said in that other episode, I always hit a wall. There's always some point where I give up.
See, I honestly would be curious to see if you get any of this in there, any of the The gray.
Oh yeah, there's some. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's there a
well,
little
because
bit.
I know you've got a little bit at the temples there that you're
Yes.
currently hiding under a hat, which I think
Yep.
you look like Reed Richards. It looks distinguished. I dig it. But when the gray started coming in, it was one hair here, one there, and I'd pluck them. And then at a certain point, they won the battle, and so I just let it go. And I asked Nicole, I was like, should I dye this or something? She goes, no, the gray looks cool. I dig it. It makes you look distinguished, like you've lived a life. And I was like, all right. So kept it.
Yeah, it's not. I will admit I am a bit self conscious about the gray hair. In my day job, I don't mind it. I feel like it does give that distinguished air. And again, I'm dealing with a population of prospective law students, and I feel like that that
It
conjures a
makes you
little.
like an elder statesman sort of
Yeah,
thing.
a little bit of that. So I don't mind it for that. But then in my secret identity, or maybe that's the secret identity, and then when I do this stuff, it's like I don't like it as much. But it's okay. It's
I
it's
don't know,
it's
man.
perfectly fine.
You should lean into it, embrace it. That's what happens to men as we age. I mean, at least you still have hair. I've got friends who started losing it in high school, who at
Yeah.
one point were just like, all right, I'm just shaving it forever now. Mine's definitely thinning, and these fluorescents don't help, like we spoke about in the last episode. But it's still mostly there. So, and I've shaved my head completely bald in the past once or twice just to see what may be coming down the pike for me. I could live with it if it ever came down to like just going full bald. I'd go for it.
The Lex Luthor look.
Sure.
In another callback, in probably multiple episodes, but certainly in our first episode, we talked about the beloved elder statesman of my old comic shop, Alternate Realities, Mr. Rich Roney, who coined our shop's catchphrase slogan, friendship and fun.
Friendship.
So speaking of Rich Roney, he visited your shop.
Rich was here. We had a celebrity sighting on Sunday, and he had called me, I believe, Saturday. Oh, how you doing? And everything. And I was like, oh my God, Rich Roney's calling. Well, because first he asked for Shawn. He said, is this Shawn? And I said, well, that depends, because you never know who's calling.
Oh, wait, I have a
He goes,
question.
oh, sure.
Okay. So we've talked about this on my Comic Shop History podcast episodes and all that stuff, but Rich has a very distinct way of greeting you over the phone. And I'm curious if that extends to a business that he's calling, because he does it when he calls us. And so I'm curious, when you picked up the phone, did you hear, hey, hey, hey? Was there any of that or no?
No.
No.
Maybe
Okay.
because he wasn't sure he'd be getting me
Yes.
on the phone.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I was just curious
Yeah.
about that. So, all right. So he called.
So he called and he said, listen, I've got like 2 small boxes of comics. They mean nothing to me. I just got to get them out of here. It's stuff ranging from like the 60s up until more current stuff. Some of them are in really bad shape. I can't bring myself to throw them away. And I said, yeah, by all means. I said, if you want to, you could pick out a few books. We could do a credit thing. He goes, no, I don't want anything. I just want these out of here. I want to give them to you. If you throw them out right after I leave, I don't even care. I don't want to know about it. I just can't bring myself. It's not my DNA to throw out comic books. And I said, well, same here. Um, I said, I'm like the Native Americans. I use every part of the buffalo. Like you bring me beat up books. I think we talked about it weeks ago how Nicole took some beat up comics and she was doing a decoupage on my file cabinet. So, and even if the comics beat up, I'll hand it out to a kid. Like, here you go, kid, shred it. Like a little kid who's too young to even appreciate it. I can't bring myself to throw out comic books out there unless they're water damaged. Like when my house flooded back in '99, I had to throw out 12 long boxes of comics, and it hurt. It still hurts. But so he came by on Sunday, and he brought in the 2 boxes, and there's some cool stuff in there. There really is. I mean, some of the coolest stuff, the older stuff, is really kind of beat up. Still, looked up. I cherry picked out the stuff that I thought would be interesting or worth maybe a little above average, and some of the books, $7-8, according to the guide. So I'm in the process of bagging them up. I said, Rich, thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for the homework. He goes, I know, because I've got a regular customer, Steven, who will just bring me books, mostly older horror books. And he's like, look, I'm getting older. I got to get this stuff out of here. I've read them. I've enjoyed them. And you could tell that he's read them. Like, they're not mint. Like, these books were read. And he'll just come in every month or two with just a stack. And he returns the books he buys from here. He likes horror stuff. He likes Aliens. He likes Red Sonja, and he'll pay for them, bring them home, and next time he comes in, he brings them back. And I say, well, I should give you store credit or something for this. He goes, no, just, I enjoyed them, and now just put them back on the shelf. So it's kind of awesome. But anytime he comes in, it'll always be a day where I'm like, all right, I'm going to do A, B, C, and D today. I work on the previews. I'm going to do this. And then here comes Steve with a stack. I'm like, because I can't not go through them. I'm not going to leave this treasure trove of possibility sitting to the side while I work on my stupid previews order. So it's always like, oh, thank you so much. And damn it, because now I got to go through this. But I've got a few customers who come in, and I made a horror box, a long box of all this horror stuff, and they love it. They're like, oh my God, you got new stuff. So it's great. But I've got it wouldn't be a comic shop as much as, and Rich was very complimentary. He goes, my God, the store looks so great, so clean. And I was like, yeah, but over there's one little area of just barely controlled chaos. But any good comic shop should have that. Just Italy. I mean, AR was slightly more areas of chaos.
Yeah, slightly.
But I try to keep it contained to just this one little section. But I have customers who come in and they're like, oh, what is that? I'm like, it's a bunch of stuff I didn't go through yet. And like, well, can I dig through? And just if I find something I dig, we'll look up the price. I go, absolutely. You're doing me the favor. You look it up. You want it? Here's the price guide. Let's look it up together, and I'll be reasonable. Especially the stuff I get for free. I'm not going to gouge anybody on stuff that I was handed.
Very nice. So the last question before we wrap up this episode, Rich related. Rich is known for his crushing handshake. Now, 2 questions, I guess. The first question: you guys are both vaccinated. There's hand sanitizer. Did you shake hands?
We fist bumped.
You fist bumped. Okay. So
he came in fully masked. When I hear the door open, my mask goes on. And then within the first, minute or so, he's like, are you vaccinated? I said, yeah. And he goes, me too. And so, but while he was here, some people did come in. And as soon as we heard the door, we both masked up. But, like you saw, we took a picture together. We weren't wearing masks. We weren't sitting on top of each other, but we weren't masked because, we're both being careful. And I would especially be careful around him because, and we discussed our mutual weight loss over the pandemic.
Oh yeah,
he
Rich
said
too?
how he lost weight. He even said that in normal times he was doing his 3 square meals a day, but then he just got in his habit with whatever was going on with him that he was basically eating just 1 meal a day. And I was like, oh, lucky 1 meal. Sometimes I gone a whole day and been like, oh, I didn't eat anything, But yeah, so we commiserated on our mutual unintentional weight loss.
Gotcha. Well, it remains to be seen. I'm curious whether the past year has diminished the strength of his handshake. He's out of practice. But then at the same time, part of me is like, he might have been storing up all of this handshake energy. And the next time he shakes hands, like, that's it. It's over.
Yeah. It's going to be like a Dragon Ball Z sort of moment, things exploding and.
Yeah. So we'll see. But all right. Well, listen, I hope that everyone has had a safe, healthy, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Shawn and I will be back with another new episode in 1 week. And until then, don't call on a Wednesday.